Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If I'm talking kind of low, it's because Nova is trying to go to sleep, so that's why. But today's video is going to be about my experience with breastfeeding. I asked you guys on YouTube and on my Instagram to leave me any questions that you had about breastfeeding. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna answer the questions for you guys. So first, I'll just talk about the beginning of me breastfeeding, how I got to that point, and then I'll start answering some of the questions. So I knew right when I was pregnant that I wanted to breastfeed. I know all the research shows that it's the best thing for your baby. It's the most natural thing. There's all these immunities that you provide to your baby to breastfeed, and so I'm like, you know, I'm gonna breastfeed. That's what I'm gonna do. So while I was still pregnant, I actually took a lactation class. I only took one class. It was like an hour or hour and a half or something like that with a lactation specialist, and there was other pregnant women in the room with me, and that right there was so freaking helpful. I didn't even know that women have problems breastfeeding. I didn't know that until after I had Nova, and I hear people telling me like, you're still breastfeeding, it was so hard. You know, I just wanted to know, like, what do I do? How do I breastfeed my kid when they come out? So, but in hindsight, it was so helpful. So first suggestion to new moms or moms that are going to try to breastfeed the second or third time around, I would definitely say take a lactation class and just ask questions. You know, that's a lactation specialist, and you can find a class. I think your doctor should be able to point you to a class that they have going on. I think they do them like once a month or twice a month or something like that. So I would definitely go to a class, and in the class she talked about how when you first have the baby, how you're not really producing milk, you're producing colostrum, which is important to know, so you don't think, oh, I'm not producing anything, nothing's coming out. It's just the baby's stomach is really small. They only need a little bitty bit of colostrum. And then we also talked about how the baby needs to latch, and latching is just such a big thing to make sure that your baby is doing correctly. If your baby doesn't latch correctly, you're gonna have a terrible experience breastfeeding. It's just gonna be bad, because what's supposed to happen is when your baby's mouth goes on your breast, the nipple, it seems like the nipple would go on like the beginning of their mouth and they would suck right there. No, the nipple needs to be back in the back of their mouth. Their whole entire mouth needs to be covering your nipple. You shouldn't even really see a lot of your nipple. Your nipple should be covered, unless you have really big areolas, then you know, but most of it should be covered. Y'all hear the baby? Okay, had to go situate the kid. But anyway, like I was saying, the lactation class will definitely help you know how to have your baby latch on to your breast. That's just such a big thing, because if the baby's latching on incorrectly, it's going to start chafing your nipple. Then your nipple might start bleeding or get really dry or irritated. It's not going to make it a pleasurable experience for you or the baby. So now I'm going to answer some of your questions. And just so you know, I've been breastfeeding for a year and 2 months, and it has been the best thing ever. So I'm just gonna go down the list and answer these questions. Let's see. The first one: how did you go back on birth control while breastfeeding? I didn't go on birth control while breastfeeding. I'm still actually not on birth control. Some of you might know this, but breastfeeding is actually a natural form of birth control. So not saying just use that only, but I just haven't been on birth control while I was breastfeeding. So I'll probably start now that I've stopped breastfeeding though. Somebody said, did anyone else's baby learn to learn to open your blouse and latch on. Babies are smart, man. Once they know that the boobie is the good stuff, man, they get all. Nova used to like dig all in my shirt and try to grab any way she can. She would go under my shirt. She just, yeah. So I think that's just kids. They just know after breastfeeding they'll find a way. Somebody said, I'll read the names. Tristan Marie, did you have to give up some things you wanted to do in order to exclusively breastfeed Nova? I guess drinking would be the only thing that you kind of have to give up if you want to breastfeed exclusively, because you're not supposed to drink. I know some people do drink, but I didn't. So yeah, that's really the only thing, because everything else I stay at home, I work from home, so it's not like I had to really give up much, you know. I'm already at home, so it's really nothing I'm giving up. Stress the Rapper, what pump do you use? So I have the Medela pump, I think that's what it's called, Medela, and I really like that pump. It's the double pump, and I only pumped probably like 2 weeks max, because I just didn't like pumping. I just thought it was a waste of time. Like I'm with the baby all the time. Might as well just put her on my breast. Why am I putting in the bottle? She don't even like the bottle. It was just stupid to me. I didn't like pumping. And when my first pump, actually I had a different pump. I forgot what brand it was, maybe Avon or something like that. But it was only for one breast, so it took a long time. So I remembered that I had the Medela one as well. My insurance company sent it to me, so I used that one. I was like, oh, this is cool, I could double it up. But that was only if I knew, like, I don't know, I really like it when I just wanted to start kind of introducing her to the bottle. That's when I pumped, but I didn't pump a lot. Pumping didn't go far for me. I just breastfed out of my breast. And Stress the Rapper also said, and what did you do to produce enough milk to pump? I didn't do anything. I actually, thank God, produced enough milk. I didn't eat differently, but I already eat really healthy, so I don't know if that played a part in anything, but nothing that I really did made me produce more or less milk. My milk flow has always been really great. Stress the Rapper also asked, and did you notice a change in your breasts? Like, did they start sagging? My breasts never started sagging while I've been breastfeeding. Mind you, I just stopped breastfeeding like 2 days ago. So they're still plump and perky and nice and full of milk. So I mean, I guess maybe a little, not really saggy. I have really small breasts, so it's kind of hard for them to be saggy because they're small already. So I guess like after she cleared them out, like drank all the milk out of them, I guess they look kind of sadder than usual. But I don't know, saggy is the word, but they probably will start looking saggy now. I don't know. Priya M. Johnson, when did you introduce a pacifier? I didn't. I tried to give her a pacifier a couple times, but she just spit it out. She didn't want it, and I kind of really didn't want her to have it because I didn't want her to be dependent on it. So I was like, fine, you don't have to have it. So we never use a pacifier. Priya M. Johnson also said, please talk about the beginning / first few days experience and your plan for weaning off. So the first few days of breastfeeding, whew, that's kind of far back to remember. From what I remember, it was fine. She latched on perfectly. I remember that in the hospital. She latched on so good. Lactation specialist came in there and was like, oh yes, she's doing such a good job. But I did have the lactation specialist come in the room with me and like, am I doing it right? What am I doing? How do I hold her? I was so uncomfortable holding her. I didn't know, like, how do I hold this little tiny thing, like, and have her eat and hold her? It was just odd to me. So the lactation specialist came in, showed me how to hold her. She showed me like 3 positions that were the easiest. We also talked about that in the lactation course though, but just actually having the baby in my hand, that kind of went out the window how to hold her. So she showed me like, you can hold her like this or like a football. So that was helpful. But yeah, Nova latched on great. I had a little chafing in the beginning, and not because she wasn't latching on correctly. I think it's just because it was my first week, 2 weeks breastfeeding, so it's just something new for my nipples. So I use Lanolin Cream, which I would definitely suggest to people. Get it in the hospital while you're there. They'll just charge your insurance anyways for it. So yeah, get some Lanolin Cream so that you can put it on your nipple when it starts feeling like rough or sore or red. It's just like kind of irritated. I use that, and that helped a lot. And it's safe for the baby if you know, if you go breastfeed them after, you like wipe it off and it's okay if it's still on your breast. Vanessa Garcia, how were you sure in the beginning if she was really getting milk? Did it come easy to you or did you struggle with it? So like I said, with the lactation class, I learned that in the beginning I'm not going to produce milk, I'm producing colostrum, and it's going to be a little bit because the baby's stomach is small. So I just assumed she was getting it because she would just release my breast when she was done. So I figured she was drinking something. I mean, you don't really know, but I thought she was. I didn't think I was having any problem producing milk or colostrum or whatever. So yeah, I didn't find it have a problem. Did it come easy to you or did you struggle with it? It came easy to me. Fashion 34, a little personal. Does DC suck your nipples? And if he did in the past, did you miss it while breastfeeding if he didn't? So DC, while I was breastfeeding, no way. My nipples off limits while breastfeeding, just because I don't think he wants to drink the breast milk. I don't want him to. I kind of just felt like my boobs were only for Nova, you know, like I shouldn't share them with anybody else. Like, my nipples are yours, baby, my breasts are yours. It's only a little bit of time that I have to do this. So I didn't miss him sucking on them, and yeah, it was totally fine with me. od.shorty14 said, did your nipples change color? So while I was pregnant, they changed color. They got really dark. Like, they looked crazy, like this couch in the back. Like, they weren't like black, but they were like really close to it. And I was so worried because I was like, oh my gosh, is my nipples gonna stay looking crazy like this? Because I'm used to them being nice and pink and cute, and they're all like bleh. But the doctor had told me, like, your nipples are gonna go back, everything's gonna go back to normal, like everything, the color's gonna go back. And they did. They're cute little pink color that they were. It took about 2 months maybe after I had her for them to go back. So Nisha Shanae said, I think she was trying to say tips on stopping. My daughter is almost 1 and I'm ready to stop. So I think it's just personally between you and your baby. You know, you might be ready, your baby might be ready, you might not be ready, your baby might be ready, you might be ready, your baby's not ready, you know, like, you just gotta figure it out. So for me, I was planning on stopping when she turned 1, which was in October. It's January right now, just so you know. So in October, I was like, I'm gonna stop when she turns 1. I did I breastfed for a year. I'm cool, I'm good, I'm a great mom, you know. And so after her first birthday, I was still breastfeeding her. I was like, okay. So then my birthday was November 3rd. So it was a couple days after her birthday. I went out of town, and so I wasn't around her for 2 or 3 days. And so I was like, okay, cool. When I get back from my birthday, like, my breasts were so engorged when I was out of town, like not around her. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in pain, I'm dying. But when I came home, like, in my head, I was like, I'm not breastfeeding her. This was like the perfect time. I got away from her so that she didn't want it, so I didn't feel bad. So when I got home, I was sitting on the couch boobs so full, so engorged, and I'm sitting there and I pull my bra down just to see if she would like go for the boob, and she didn't. She's just la 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 playing with her toys, like, and I'm over here like, oh no you didn't. I wanted her to like want to breastfeed. I was like, oh, little girl, look at boobie, and she was just like, no thanks. So I was like, so that made me feel bad. So the fact that she didn't want it, I was like, oh no, you better get over here, and I like made her breastfeed. I was like, please just eat, and it felt so good. So good. So then I was like, okay, now it's the start of the new year, and the reason I just stopped now is because one, I had said, okay, I'm gonna stop in the new year. I just kind of want my body back, you know. I love breastfeeding. I could probably breastfeed till she's like 7, honestly, but I feel like the longer I breastfeed, the harder it's going to be for her and for me. So I'm just like, okay, while she's a baby, while she's young, while I can kind of program her mind, like, okay, bottle, it's only a bottle now. That's kind of where I was coming from with wanting to stop. And I actually got sick on New Year's Eve, or the day before New Year's Eve. I got food poisoning, so I was sick, and so I kind of just didn't want to breastfeed her because I was like, I don't want her around me being sick and stuff. So that's kind of where it started. And then January 1st came around. I was like, okay, done. We're just not doing this no more. So just so you know, was it hard? Yes, it is so hard to stop breastfeeding. I cried 2 nights in a row, like in tears, because you know they root, like they go for it, like, oh, like they want it. It's just such a bonding experience, and for me to be like, no you can't, oh my gosh, I could probably cry right now because it's just such a beautiful thing. And so then I kind of slipped up after that, actually on January like 2nd, like fed her. I was like, it's not normal for me to not breastfeed her after I had went like a couple days. It might have been January 3rd. After I went a couple days of not breastfeeding her, my boobs were hurting so bad. I was crying, just not because my boobs hurt that bad, but just because I just felt like I'm supposed to be feeding my baby like breast milk. And so I gave in, and then the next day I was just like, no, I can't do this. Because that night all she wanted to do the whole night was suck. And I'm just like, girl, you're not even drinking anything, you're just using it as a pacifier. That's what she was doing. So I was just like, oh no, I couldn't sleep throughout the whole night. I was like, what was I doing? What did I missed this is insane. I can't sleep. So I was like, okay, no, next day I'm about to go get you some almond milk. So that's that. And I don't know if anybody's gonna have this question, but you guys probably want to know what formula did I give her? Do I give her kind of milk? So I don't drink milk, so she's not gonna drink milk. So I was giving her the soy powder, and now after she's turned 1, I just now thought about it. I'm like, why am I paying $25 for a can of freaking powder when I could just buy almond milk or soy milk and give her that? So I just started getting soy milk, and I think I'm gonna start making it soy milk or almond milk preferably, but she likes almond milk, she loves it, so that's what we're gonna do. We don't drink cow's milk, you shouldn't either, nor should your children, but hey, that's just my opinion. But yeah, so almond milk it is. Soy milk is what I was giving her before, the powder. Malia Isabella said, I love you so much. I love you too, girl. She said, what is your best advice for first-time mothers? How long do you want to, oh yeah, what is your best advice for first-time mothers? I would say just take it day by day. I think it's insane how if you've never had a kid, they just let you leave the hospital and you just have this thing with you that you've never dealt with before. Like you've never raised a kid, and you're just like, they're like, here, take it home, have fun, learn. You just learn every single day, every step of the way. Like I just couldn't believe like I was going home with her. Like what do I do? Like I'm a parent now, I need somebody else here to help me, you know. But you just learn. So just enjoy the moments. They grow up so fast, so quick. I look back at pictures of her when she was a baby, well, a little tiny baby, and I can't even believe that she was ever that small. You know, I hold like newborn babies now and I'm like, I give them back, like they're too tiny, you know. So I'm like, I can't believe I like dealt with her when she was that small. So just enjoy the moment, enjoy the moments, enjoy the crying, because some people don't have their children. So when they're screaming and hollering at the top of their lungs and you just want to shake them, just think, you know what, at least I have them here. Some people don't have children, they can't have children, they lost their children, you know. So enjoy. The lovely Jay, how long do you want to breastfeed, and do you do it in public? I've stopped breastfeeding. And do I do it in public? Yep. You know, it's legal, ladies, for you to breastfeed anywhere where people eat. If there's people eating, your child can eat. Why not? So I think there's like 3 states, like South Dakota and Delaware, Virginia, or something. There's like 2 or 3 states that don't, or something like that. I was always super comfortable breastfeeding. I breastfed on the plane, I breastfed in the restaurant, I breastfed at the park. It didn't matter. If my baby was hungry, she was gonna eat. And anyways, I just look at people that are looking at me weird, like, you're watching me breastfeed. You should feel weird. Like, why are you looking at my daughter sucking on my nipple? Like, don't you feel odd, sir? So yeah, I never felt weird, and I'm not really like a shy person anyways. I know some women are more reserved and they're like, you want to cover up, go by all means, do that, cover up. I just didn't care. I'm just like, man, here you go. Katie_Laura, she said, it's not a question, but I will state one thing no one talks about, and it's weaning. It was a lot harder for me than I expected. My baby stopped on her 2nd birthday. Yeah, I agree. I think I just talked about that. It's hard. Breastfeeding is really hard to stop. It's really hard to wean your child from breastfeeding. Like I said, I could do it till she's probably like 7 or 8 or 9 or 29, but I don't even know how to. You just have to just decide when you want to, and don't let outside influences influence you. You know, don't let your husband or your boyfriend or your family or people around you judge you because you're still breastfeeding and they're 3. So what? If that's what works for you and your baby, then that's what works for you and your baby. Don't feel uncomfortable, but just know you're eventually gonna have to stop. Just maybe keep that in mind. Maybe that will help you know, you know, okay, maybe it's time. You know, just like with me, I'm just like, you know, she's getting older, and I don't want it to be harder than it has to be later on down the line. So that's kind of why I stopped. 7 Isla, does your breast hurt while you're breastfeeding, and was it hard for Nova to latch on? No, my breasts don't hurt while breastfeeding. It wasn't hard for her to latch on. Lasha.yyyyy, did DC want Nova to be breastfed, or did you choose to? It was my decision. I don't think he really knew about breastfeeding either way, so if I want to give her formula, he would have been okay with that. I want to breastfeed, he's fine with that. It's Cherish says, do your boobs get smaller while breastfeeding, and does it get tiring? I don't know if they get smaller while breastfeeding. I know after you're done, I think they shrink to sizes. And does it get tiring? Not anymore, but when I first started breastfeeding her, I remember this now, I felt kind of exhausted after feeding her, and I also was so thirsty. I used to be breastfeeding her so tired, so exhausted. I used to be like, baby, give me some cold water. I need cold water. I felt like, I don't know what it was, I just needed water all the time while she was breastfeeding. It kind of lessened after a while, but I still feel like I need water. But in the beginning, it was like, oh, I need some ice cold water now. O.Joy said, after you get done breastfeeding, does your boobs still leak? Yep, they're leaking their little lives away. I'm trying to do little remedies like the cabbage thing. I don't know if it dries up your milk, but it definitely helps like alleviate some of the pain because it's so cold. So you put like a little piece of cabbage in your bra. It feels so good. But yeah, they're still leaking. She still goes for a boob all the time. She'll still try to go for it, but it's kind of lessening and lessening and lessening because she realizes, get that out your mouth, because she realizes that she ain't getting it no more. So she's kind of like, okay, bye-bye. How do you manage breastfeeding when you're away from Nova? That was from Keisha Eats. I'm not really ever away from her. The couple of times I've been away from her, I've just pumped, and I already had her drinking some powdered milk. So she just drank the milk while I was away. I'm going faster now because Nova's awake and she's about to give me a panic attack. Stop, baby. Stop. Changa876 says, does DC like the taste of it? I didn't mind it at all. He never just tasted the breast milk by itself, but he has tasted in his pancakes because I put in his pancakes, and he ate those pancakes up. You can watch that. Boyfriend eats my breast milk pancakes. It's on my YouTube, so I guess he likes it. How many times a day do you feed the baby when they first come home? You feed, oh sorry, that was from I'm Me Jazzy. You feed the baby as much as they want to eat. As long as they're hungry, you just feed them. And in the first week or two, your breasts are trying to regulate how much your baby is eating. So after a while, you'll stop overproducing or underproducing. It'll just balance out. So the first week you might be producing a lot or less, but then when your body realizes how much your child needs to eat, then your body starts regulating itself. Okay, now I'm gonna answer some of the YouTube questions. Scarlett Harris says, has Nova ever bitten you while breastfeeding? Yes. Yep, she has. And it hurt. And I just kind of like anchor away, like, don't do that. So she knows that's a no-go. ZN says, how long did it hurt before you got used to it? It never really hurt me, but I mean, maybe I adjusted after the first week, but it never really hurt. Bonica Thompson says, do you care about breastfeeding in public? I don't know why, but I'm always ashamed to breastfeed in public. I answered that, but no, don't feel ashamed, girlfriend. You are feeding your daughter or your son. Do not feel ashamed. You better hold your head up high and look at the people looking at you crazy. Look at them crazy. Hello, hi, can I help you? Do you want some? I got 2 of them. Did you want some? No? Okay, well, carry on, sir, ma'am, thank you. So this is really just like mind your business, like I'm breastfeeding. Caitlin McDaniel said, do you breastfeed when you're out and about, or do you pump? If so, do you have a whole supply of pumped milk stored? Like I said, I never liked pumping. If I'm out and about, if I'm at the mall or something, I'll just go in the restroom and breastfeed, or I'll go back to the car and breastfeed. Kim Greer 88, after Nova gets off the boob, do you plan to get your breasts done? After I ended breastfeeding with my son, my boobs dropped. Yeah, I want to get mine done. And I know there's gonna be people like, no, stay natural, you're fine how you are, don't do it. It's my body, and if that's what I want to do, that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you. Do what you would like with your body. But I think I'm gonna get mine done. I've always wanted them done before I even had Nova, when I was like 16, 17. So I thought puberty was gonna hit. It didn't. I've always had an A cup. Over it. So yeah, I'll probably get them done, you know. I probably will. Ash Lee said, okay, another one, do you eat healthier now that you breastfeed? I always eat healthy, so nothing's really changed. Is there things you stay away from? I think I just stayed away from certain medications or vitamins while I was breastfeeding. I always made sure, you know, if it was gonna go through my breast milk, if it was unhealthy, I wouldn't take it. Like, I think I had to get on some medicine or something, and I was like, I can't, because I'm breastfeeding. So Nana Woods, how do you produce milk if not a lot is coming out? I'm not sure how you do. I've heard people say drink beer, but I don't think that's like morally right, but I heard something like that. I don't know. My breast supply was always really good, so I'm not sure. That's something you want to discuss with your doctor. Green Gemini 613, how have you been able to keep your milk supply up? After 3 months, I couldn't eat like I used to produce enough milk. I would have loved to do it longer. I think just because I'm always around her and I'm consistently breastfeeding her, it was always consistent, you know. It's not like I took long breaks away from her, so it was out of whack. I was always with her, so I think that's what helped. Precious Cuthro said, have you noticed that any weight that you may have gained, if any, seem to drop off quicker while breastfeeding? I think so. I know I've heard that, you know, breastfeeding, you lose like all these calories because it's like a workout while you're breastfeeding. That's not why I did it, but it doesn't hurt that happened. And I think you do lose weight. Like I said, like when I was all tired and needing water because I felt like I don't know, ran a marathon. Maybe that's with me losing weight. So yeah, I know you drop off some more pounds, I think, or you lose weight, or it's just like you're burning more calories while breastfeeding. So it's a plus. Hannah Price says, hey Jackie, do you plan on having any more kids? And if so, are you going to breastfeed them or are you going to try to bottle feed? I definitely want more kids and I definitely want to breastfeed. I had a beautiful experience breastfeeding. So yeah, I'll breastfeed again. Andrea Juarez says, does nipple piercings affect breastfeeding? I actually did have my nipples pierced. Oh, I had one pierced actually, but right before, what was it before? I think while I was pregnant, while I was a couple months pregnant. Oh my gosh, no, girlfriend. I got it taken out. I knew I was gonna breastfeed, so I don't know if it does. I actually heard that it doesn't. Like I actually heard people like breastfeeding with their nipple ring, but I just think it's like a choking hazard. Like I wouldn't want my baby drinking my breast or putting the nipple in their mouth with that and with jewelry in it. I think I answered a lot of your guys' questions. We're talking about boobies, Nova. Boobies? Where's the boobie? See, she still knows. Oh, do you miss the boobie? Boobie? I love you. And another thing is, ever since I stopped breastfeeding her, she's so much more affectionate at night, because I'm used to just like putting her on my boob at night and then her just falling asleep. Look, she still tries to go for it. She's trying to pull my shirt down. No, baby, no. Go get your baba. Go get your baba. But now she knows she can have it, so she'll come and just get on top of me and lay on me and go to sleep, or she'll get really close to my boob, but she knows she can't have it, so she'll just like lay on it. So it's cute. But I thought I was gonna lose some type of like affection from her, or but I didn't. She's just making it up in other ways. It's still my baby. Another thing, I don't know if other moms go through it, I'm sure they do, is yes, while your baby is breastfeeding on one, they tend to grab and try to play with and twist and mess with the other one. Yep, it happens. It's just so it's normal, and I think the reason they do it is because they're trying to stimulate the other one, so when they're done with this one then they have that one. That's what I've read, but I don't know why they do it. But totally normal, baby playing with your nipple. Another question that I've heard from like my friends before, like does it feel good, like kind of like a, you know, that kind of feeling? No, I don't get that type of feeling at all from when she's breastfeeding. And I know some women don't do it because they do feel like that, and I understand, you know, it's your nipple, it's nerve ending, it's you know, I get that. I didn't feel like that, but you know, if that's how you're starting to feel, if it makes you uncomfortable, then just stop. You know, that's how some women feel. They just feel like it's not comfortable for them. So do what makes you comfortable. Okay, you guys, I think I have answered all of the questions, or I've gotten to a lot of them, and I've kind of repeated myself on some because you guys kind of have overlapping questions. But I hope this video helped. I really encourage all you mommies to breastfeed if you can, for as long as possible, and you know, stop when you feel comfortable. Don't let any outside influences tell you to stop. You're in control. It's between you and your baby, so you do what makes you happy and what makes you and your child comfortable. So thank you so much for watching. Now I'm gonna do something actually really cool. So I just thought about this, but since I'm about to be done breastfeeding and I'm still leaking, I figure, why don't I give my own breast milk a try? I think I'm gonna do that. You know, I don't know when I'm gonna have another kid again, or if I'll ever have another kid. I don't know what God hasn't planned for me. So when is the next time I'll be able to try my own breast milk? See what this kid loves so much. I think I'll do that now, and I'll post it in the next video. So stay tuned for that next video. But this video, I hope it's been educational. Remember, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know everything, so consult your physician for any questions that you have that are really important. This is just my experience, and everybody's experience is different. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share this video with somebody you think will learn or benefit from it. And let's try to get this video to 40,000 thumbs up. I just be coming up with random numbers like 50,000 million thumbs up. My kid she's eating perfume right now. Okay. Bye y'all. Gotta go.